Good evening, everyone who are not watching the football in Scotland. Tonight we have the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Mathewson of Paranormal In History. Evening, Scott.
Evening, Liam. Thanks very much for having me on. That's what everybody says, isn't it? Thanks very much for having me on. It's my pleasure. No, thanks for having his own buddy. I do enjoy a wee natter.
I am aware of that, and it's nice. It's a change of reversal of roles because normally it's me that's on the other side. So yeah, evening, Eileen.
I mean, I usually it's you that's on the receiving end, but so it makes a nice change, you know.
It does. It does. I mean,
When
obviously you've got your Paranormal History channel. That you're doing what, one or two a week?
average, we used to do a lot more. We used to do maybe 4 or 5 a week, but then after my wee ticker attack, we decided to cut it down. So we're average about two a week now, which is all right, you know. I enjoy doing the shows. I do enjoy it because you meet, you know, loads of different people, and it's a good thing. But no, I think 2, maybe 3 sometimes is enough now, and that's it.
You know? Yeah, I mean, you've had some pretty big names.
We've been quite lucky. Sounds big-headed, you know, but you've already called me a myth, a legend, and
well, you are.
And, I actually screenshotted it, and Sarah, Laura, and I have a wee group chat, and I put it in the group chat because Laura hadn't seen it, right. So I put it in the screenshot in the group chat, and I was like, look at the description. So she was that big, egotistic. I can't even say the word. You know, big ego basically. And I says, I know I have, I don't care. I just like winding her up. But no, we've been quite lucky. With the guests we've had on, we have had some quite big names, and we've got, you know, more big names to come. And people have asked me, you know, how did you get these names? Eileen was meant to be on last week, but she had a cold. Oh. I've been ill myself, Eileen, though. I do sympathise. Evening, Linda.
Evening, Linda.
But either say, how do you manage to get pie negri stuff like that? And say, well, I just mailed them and asked them, you know, and it makes you sound like a mad stalker or something, but then I just, you know, hunt them down on Facebook and do you want to come and talk to me, please? You know, but no, we've been quite fortunate so far, and the guests we've had them back time and again, which is a good thing because it lets them know that it lets us know that they enjoy what we're doing, and enjoy sitting chatting, and you know, we were saying earlier on about format, that we don't actually have a format, we just say hello and see what happens. But no, we've been quite lucky so far. I'll say that. You always say that, but don't you? Quite lucky so far.
So far. But yeah, I mean, I think you said it there. It speaks volumes that these people are coming back time and time again. They're obviously enjoying, you know, the chat. And we were going on, as you said there, about formula. Don't go in with a formula and set questions because it never works. Keep it informal. And I think if you're passionate about a subject, it's going to work anyway, isn't it? So, I mean, I know you guys, you're really passionate about paranormal. You're really passionate about the history as well. Because obviously you've got the other thing you're working on just now is the Wallace Trail. Is video 2 out yet? I've seen video 1. Is video 2 out yet?
Not yet. No, we are meeting back up on. We were meant to be in Glasgow today. In fact, we might be going. But Sarah's got a sore back. It is good to chat, Eileen. It is good to chat. We met Eileen in, I think it was February when Rosie and Andrea were up. We hooked up with Eileen in Edinburgh for the afternoon. We were meant to be in Glasgow today, but Sarah's back's done in, so we are meeting up on Sunday to film the rest of episode 2. We've got it's going to sound all Hollywood here, right? But you know, if I sound all, if I know what I'm talking about, we've got the B-roll and all that filmed, you know, and we know what we're doing. And so it's just filming 4 locations on Sunday, and then Sarah and Laura sit down and they put it together with me nipping their ear for how I want it to come. to come out. They do get annoyed, but sometimes, you know, because you see sort of like the first one we did, you know, you get the image in your head how you want it to look, and you go and you film it and you put it together, and you watch it and you think, no, that doesn't look right, you know. And I didn't realise how long it takes to edit stuff, you know, whether it's 30 seconds or a minute, whatever. It takes quite a while to do it. And so Sarah's lost her egg with me a couple of times because I said, well, can we tweak that? And can we move that? And can you do this? And, you know, but Sarah Laura, they'll be putting it together. So we're hoping it'll be out before the end of the month.
Yeah, well, I mean, really enjoyed the first one. It was really good. And
the first
really
one. Sorry, Liam.
Yeah, just saying, really informative.
Well, we were lucky because, you know, we managed to partner up with Society of William Wallace, and we were partnered up with CRA Entertainment as well. So they're on board for, you know, because we've got a lot more planned after Wallace. We're going to be looking at Robert the Bruce, and then we're going to redo Edinburgh and Ayrshire and stuff like that. So CRA, they're on board with that. So the first episode we put out, there's Laura there. Doc, hope you're feeling better, Flower. When we put it together, we sent it to David and Craig, and they came back with some suggestions. And so we went back out, we refilmed some of it, and we put it in. The second, I don't know what you call it, second attempt, don't know, was a lot better than the first one, and it worked out well.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's Laura putting her. So you see that comment that Laura's put up there.
T-shirts, mags from next week.
Aye, the merch will be out on Monday. With my photograph on it. I don't know if you want one with shades on or just normal specs. I don't know, take a pick, you know.
Both. Yeah,
both. Well, the ones with shades on it, or sunnies, I believe they're called. They'll cost extra because you need to put a different look on. You know what I mean? But I'm going to milk this for a couple of days. I know Laura's listening, so I'm going to milk it for a couple of days anyway. You've got to, haven't you? You know.
Yeah.
If somebody says something nice about you, I didn't know. That's the word she said earlier. I had to phone her, ask her what it meant. I might have the looks, Liam, but I've not got the brains. You know what I'm saying, Laura?
Nobody's perfect.
But no, the Wallace Trail, the second one will be the second one's focused on Glasgow,
right?
And it's going to mainly focus on just prior to his capture by the English in August 1305, and then his capture, and a wee bit about, you know, the plot. The plot actually was. The plot started a year prior to his capture. That's when it started getting put together, and it led up to him getting captured in August 1305. So we're looking at the capture side of him this time, and we're tweaking it a wee bit, but it's along the same kind of format, you know. But the first one done, I think you get 800 views or something, which
That's
really
brilliant.
isn't a lot. You know, when you look at what other people's got. But as I says to all the guys involved, you know, when we first put the idea together, we didn't know if it was going to work or not. You know, and we weren't sure if anybody was going to watch it, whatever. So to get that amount of views on the first, we were quite happy with it.
Yeah, no, I think that's brilliant. I'd be quite happy if we got 800 views in every YouTube video that we put out. And I think, as we said, before we came on tonight, we were talking about it just briefly. I think YouTube's it's a lot of luck. If you get the right person to share your video, you're kind of on to a winner.
Excuse me, it says I've got a blooming cotton. It's annoying. YouTube is a bit of a funny animal. You know, so we've had the YouTube channel since just after we started, and we forgot we had it because we never really bothered with it much. But because of circumstances, the last couple of months with Facebook and stuff, we've had to use it.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it runs. You know, it's as you say, you need to get that 1 wee break. You know, and for people to kind of sit. It's not that you want to be famous or anything, you know, but it's nice to get people watching you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you spend the effort putting it together. You're passionate about what it's about, and you want to share that, isn't it? I mean, that's why we do it. We're not doing it for fame or clicks or anything like that. We're doing it because actually we want to get the story or whatever out there.
Aye, no, 100%. You know, and Facebook become problematic. It's you never know where you sit with Facebook, really. But no, you're right. I mean, I know there's groups and teams and all the rest of it there that are just wanting the fame and all the rest of it. But I think once the fame comes into it, it takes the personal side out of it. You know, because then you're kind of working for the man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure at that point, you know, to deliver the goods, as it were, right? Yeah, and keep delivering the goods. And you know, every true paranormal team will tell you, you just don't turn up at locations and get activity at every location you go to.
That's it.
So, and you might get even if you do get something, it might be, you know, 10 seconds for 3 hours or something like that. So, yeah, it's a bit like watching paint dry at times.
Oh, it can be. We've had an investigation. We've sat there, and you know, nothing's. My wee wire's caught. Hold on. There we go. You sit there, as you say, for hours, and you get one flash of cat ball or something like that, whatever, and that's it. You know, but you still have a good night because you've been out doing what you love and stuff like that. But I think once the fame comes into it and stuff, and it's expected of you, and you need to go. It's like just going back to the Wallace field with episode 1. Last year we set about 3 or 4 different dates to start it. Where the motivation is money and fame, credibility. It does. Your credibility just goes through the floor, you know. But I say we set 3 or 4 dates to start it last year, and you know, for one reason or another, it never happened. But if you're signed up to somebody today, you know, something like that, then you have to make it happen.
Yeah, and
it's just no possible. And in that kind of situation, if you do go out and do it, then it's not as good because you're out there doing it because you have to, not because you want to.
Yeah,
and that's where the difference is. People can tell, you know, oh, he's sitting there because he's been forced to sit there. You know, because people aren't stupid. They can, you know, they can sense if you're enjoying yourself or if you're just doing it because you know you're getting paid X amount of money to go to a haunted hospital or something, whatever, you know, and you starting, as the credibility plunges, it does, because then you have to invent stuff and all that bollocks, and that's when it's just, you know, you might as well just hang up your K2 basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it does become a chore, and I mean, that's you've probably been the same at times that, you know, you're planned an investigation, say for a Friday night, and come Friday morning or something, I'm really not up for this tonight. You know.
Oh yeah, been there. But they turn out normally to be the better ones.
I really do.
You go out, and you actually, wow, I'm so glad I came along tonight.
We've had a couple like that, especially with Loudon when it wasn't planned, you know. Hi, Stefan. You know, if you're in a kind of last minute, just let's go to Loudon, because Loudon's literally 10 minutes for us. And Scotland are... Aye, all right, calm down. So it's a game of 2 halves. I mean,
plenty of time to blow it.
See, I tried to get into football years ago. My ex-brother-in-laws, they were all Rangers fans, you know, and I had 9 ex-brother-in-laws, and they used to say, "How can you not be interested in football?" I said, "Because it just..." And I did sit down and try and watch it, and they'd be shouting at the telly and jumping up and doing off the couch and stuff, and I'm just kind of looking at them thinking, no, it's just not for me. There's only one football game I ever get real interested in, and I was in holiday in Tenerife with my brother-in-law. He's one of the Rangers fans. There was some final on, so he says to me, "If you can do the watch the football with me on Sunday, I'll come and watch the race with you." So I went with him, and we were just sitting at the bar, big telly, you know, on the wall and that, and having a couple of beers, and I get really involved in this football match. I don't know why, you know, and I found myself making noises,
Oh.
you know, like, ooh, ah, oh, you know, and I think, what's happening to you, you know? But that was it.
Oh. I think that yeah, I think a wag. Yeah, I think that's definitely a footballer's wife. Podcast for you, Scott.
A footballer's Eileen on talk about.
Yeah.
Get you on, Eileen, talk about your life as a wag.
As a wag, yeah.
Glasgow Footy might be a good trigger at investigations. See, I don't know. I can't comment on that because I've got no idea. I mean, you know, you get the Rangers and Celtic, you know, and I dare say there's other teams there as well, but I wouldn't know how to start with that one.
Yeah, no, it would be. I mean, it certainly there's no bigger rivalry than that two. So, you know, yeah,
but
interesting.
To use it as an investigation, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'd need somebody with some football knowledge.
Aye.
You know, to kind of advise me on that. Even though I am a legend, Laura, keep getting a wee bit in here and there, you know.
Anyway, sorry, the whole Scotland thing got us a bit excited in football.
I know.
You were going on about Loudon, and when you started going to Loudon at first.
We've been doing Loudon for about 3 years now, something like that. And it took us, I don't know, over a year. But we've always had results at Loudon. Shut up, Scott, if you want to. We're going on holiday with Laura next week, Monday to Friday. We'll know who the end of it, you know. Love you, Laura. Mate. It's probably half what I was saying. So it took us, you know, maybe about a year or so before we started getting intelligent responses for Loudon. We always got some kind of activity, whether it was cat balls or some EVPs and that, but we never really get anything concrete until about a year in. And this is what it gets me about some teams. You know, some teams will go to a place and they'll get nothing and say, "Oh, that's crap," and they'll come back there. You know, I think, you know, you need patience when it comes to these things, you know. And I think it was about after the year mark we started to get the names of James Dempster and Christina's, you know, his wife and what have you, through, and we started to be able to build up, you know, a kind of picture of them and a history of them and what have you. And our names started coming out quite a wee bit at Loudon as well, and it was always in a Scottish accent. And we've had other teams in to Loudon. We've had Spig with Paranormal Exposures in, and then with Rosie and Andrea and the Go Gang. They've all been, and every one of them has says, you know, it's an amazing location, and it's not exactly patience is the key. You don't rush it, because I just think spirit is no concept of time. You know, you need to trust it. Exactly that's how we felt that we finally did reach, because we were allowed in so much. that we did get to that point. And some people might say I'm talking rubbish, you know. Everybody's entitled to their point of view, obviously, but we felt we got to that stage where the spirit did remember us, and they got to know us, and that's why they were more willing to come forward. You know, we did a couple of experiments that we proved that they did remember. Couple of years ago, just before Christmas, we took Craig and I, Wallace husband, it was the week before Christmas or something, we took up a toy train, because we know there's kids' spirits there. We took up a toy train and a wee doll thing, and we says, you know, this is for the kids, you know, it's Christmas time. And so we went back in January, and we says, you know, can you tell us what gifts we left for the kids, for the children? And we got back toy train, doll, angel. You know, so that was proof there for us that they were there, they had been watching, and they did remember. But I felt that about Hale's Castle. I only done Hale's Castle a few times. Sometimes see folks start to provoke if nothing happens. Worst thing you can do. Aye. Yeah. It's true. I will admit, when we first started, you know, and we've been running for 4 years. July, we're 4th year. We did Greyfriars quite a wee bit before we found out about the ban. And there was one night we did, you know, try provoking that way, and we thought, no, you know, if somebody was trying to provoke me, I'm not going to answer them. And so that, you know, it's all about respect, and it's building up that relationship, you know, with the spirits, that they do recognise you, they do remember you, and it's a long process, you know. You know, you don't automatically sit down and have a full conversation with them.
No, exactly. I mean, I've spoken on your show about exactly the same subject, and trust. It's all about trust and building that trust with them. It's just, you know, like with any individual, yeah, some people you do click with straight away, but, you know, some sites we've been to, you go time and time again, and you build up a rapport.
Aye.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's the 3rd year going to Loudon, and it's still all bits and pieces. We know who the Dempsters were, you know, Dempsters are, what have you. We know we're lucky enough to hooked up with the farm where they lived. That's still standing, and, you know, we've been up there quite a few times with the owners, and they've had activity up there, which we think ties in. The Kirk's only, I'd say, about 1/4 mile, if even that, to the actual farm. And the owner, he doesn't, you know, he's a really nice guy, but he doesn't like to come on camera. He's no one publicity or anything. He's not interested in all that. But he's told us a few things that have happened up there, and after he's told us, we've asked at the Kirk, you know, with somebody up at the house. We were up at the house, and we've had clear EVPs come back saying he was up at the house. He's been to the house, you know. So, you know, we know they're there, and it's just having patience and building it up, and it could take another 4 or 5 years before we get any further. I no doubt you are the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. We go back to same locations time and time again, and over time. And sometimes you go to a location and you get nothing as well. You can go to a location that's been active 2 or 3 times. You go back to it, and 4th time, well, nothing tonight. You go back 5th time, and again, it's jumping. But yeah, it is a case of, and you learn something every time you go. Normally, so it's a journey. And I think one of the questions we ask now is, are you happy talking to? And you normally get a yes response on the rods. You know, we haven't gone. Are we the first people that have spoken to you in a long time? Yes. So yeah, I think it all kind of clicks in.
It does. You know, it does all fit together. Again, you know, I was at the house. I saw that EVP along with brown sheep. What happened with the brown sheep was up at the farm, the back of the farm. It was still the original cottages that the Dempsters lived in, but the guy's trying to restore quite a bit of it. There's a kind of circular wall at the back of the what used to be what was the cottages, and I asked it Loudon, can you tell me what was behind that wall up at the house, up at the farm? And it came back sheep, Scottish accent, and there's black sheep and white sheep up there. So I said, can you tell me what colour the sheep were? And what colour the sheep are, and it came back brown, as in BROON.
Yeah.
And so I waited a wee while and I asked the same question again. And again, I got brown.
Brilliant.
Brown sheep. The funny thing was, the guy that owns the farm, he was at that investigation. But, he texted us, he texted me about a week later or something saying, you're not going to believe us, but the field next to the farm has got brown sheep in it. And he says, in all the years I've lived here, I've never seen brown sheep up here. He's got black and white sheep. He says, he says, so is that the tie into what you got at the Kirk? Some people may say coincidence, maybe it is. You need to have that kind of open mind. You can't 100% say, it's definitely that's what they were talking about, but it just seemed too much kind of...
Yeah, to get it twice as well as, that kind of adds a bit of kudos to it, doesn't it? That, it's not just a one-off coincidence. If it said brown once, and you might have gone, yeah, okay, good guess. But to do it twice, yeah.
Well, we're lucky because Rosie and Andrea were there, and they heard it as well. And so Laura, she's caught it on her phone. Yeah. I think it goes for you can build a reputation on the other side. I think the community. That's
a theory. Yeah,
we've had that at Loud. I do talk about Loudon a lot because it's a place that never ever lets us down. And when you're doing this, we're going to take you to Loudon and just set you free. No, we're going to lock you up or anything like that. I don't mean you're going to be locked in the basement. But just we'll just let you go and investigate and see what you get, The last time when Rosie and I were here, we investigated. We went on the Monday night, we went on the Friday night, and we got quite a few EVPs, and just that feeling that there was maybe 4 or 5, individuals there, and they were talking to each other.
Right.
See, when I tell them, I've been up at the house. It's a woman's voice, and she obviously he's been up at the house. So you wonder, who's she talking to? Who's she telling? That we've been up at the house. But I go 1-1.
Boo. Knew it was too good to be true. No, but that's fascinating, and it's always these, a few years ago I said the penny kind of dropped. Can they see us? And I felt really guilty because before that point I hadn't really thought much about. I was always focused on seeing them and not focused on what they could possibly see. And I always ask it now, can you see us? As well. And it makes perfect sense to be more than most locations you go to, you don't just get one individual. Now, whether that's because it's like maybe it is a case of, oi, they're here, they can see us, they can communicate with us. Come on, join the party. But yeah, definitely. I do say, I think that we are like, especially the people who are spiritual and open to spirit. I always say they're like a beacon.
Aye, it's Laura's got an EV spirit talking to. They must talk to each other. It's they've got to. I mean,
well, they're aware of each other, aren't they? I mean, that certainly, question wise. We at Ruthven Barracks last time we were there, we came across a stable boy and he was very communicative with us on the rods. He was putting cat balls off for us when we asked for them to go off. But then I heard a couple of footsteps next to me. I was standing at the gate of the old stables, and the atmosphere completely changed. And the questions carried on. Is it a man that's there? Yeah, there's a man here now. Turned out the boy was saying it was his father, and he wasn't happy that he was speaking to us. And the activity just completely changed. It was fascinating.
Because the father
had turned up.
Obviously he ruled. You know, he ruled the roost, as you say.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
Nicola, I know. I believe they can see us and they talk to each other. And see, we know the Dempsters are there, but we also know if we're picked up. It was big as well. There's a father and a daughter there. The father's name is Ian, and the wee girl called Lisa. And we've had them so many times as well, but we don't know anything about them. We don't know who they are, why they're there, whatever. And I've asked a few times because James Dempster, he was kind of head of the family. He likes his name to be used. If you don't use it, if you just call him James, he'll no answer you. So you need to call him Mr. Dempster, sort of thing. And I've asked a couple of times, do you know Lisa and Ian? Can you see Lisa and Ian? You know that, but we've never, to my knowledge, we've never had anything that indicates that they know that Ian and Lisa are there. Now, whether they're for a different time frame or no, we don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Just means how they see us as a form of energy. After all, they have no physical way of seeing us. That's a good question. We get an interesting question asked to us through an EVP at Loudon. We were asked, "Are you ghosts?" We've never ever had anything like that before.
That's interesting because I think I've probably had this conversation already with you. In that I watched an interview with it was a French medium who said that she went back. She was in a castle. She went back to something like the 12th century or something like that. She said she could see this, I think, monk. But the monk could clearly see her and was freaking out because he thought she was a ghost. So, yeah, and then it comes down to this whole time. What is going on? Is it a time slip, or two times, different times, just sort of colliding? Yeah, it's
Laura. We don't know. You know, Laura come around and say I have an EVP that says they can see us. That I'm sure that's a Caldwell State down here, which is somewhere else you need to take as well. It was a male and a female. We called the female the matron because we don't have a name for her, but she seemed to be kind of in charge, you know. And the sound like there was a male talking, and then she comes in saying, "Shh, they can see us." It was called, "Shh, they can see us." Now we couldn't see them, but she was telling us, you know, individual, they can see us. So it makes you think, do the spirit think that we can physically see them? And then could they physically see us? Obviously, they know that we're there, same as yourselves, you know. Because if they couldn't see us, whatever, then who are they answering? When you get intelligent responses, who are they actually answering?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. But talk about I've seen a team apparently talking to the future. I don't know if it was yourself or not. We're talking about this, the ghost thing, and somebody came in with somebody a comment up about it could have been investigators for the future investigating there, and they're picking it. It go all scientific.
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't. I was on that night. I was on as a viewer that night. I remember that conversation. It was an extremely interesting conversation. I thought, And it's another one of these cool things about just talking to other people and listening to other people. You know, I never even thought about that. That's you know, it's totally endless, isn't it? That's the whole thing. There's no real end to the questions we can ask and the theories and the possibilities. But yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's a paranormal team from the future, which would suggest that we haven't got much further forward.
Yeah, it's I can bugger your brain basically
Yeah.
at times. I can definitely, if we exist in multi-strata or types, I haven't got any idea what that means because I'm not a scientific person. You see, that night I was talking about it on the show, I can't remember. It might have been Kate actually. I don't know.
I think it was Kate. Yes, it was Kate.
Was it Kate?
Yeah.
They started throwing all this science stuff in, and I was totally lost.
Yeah.
You know, it was going.
Yeah. It's a bit. If you watch the Marvel films, it's a bit like the multiverse. There's different versions of us, and
does Iron Man go there? I like Iron Man. He's my favourite.
Yeah, probably.
he's my favourite. But it does it. I mean, that night my brain was pickled. You know, I was totally lost. And you think, well, if it was investigators for the future thinking that we're spirit, does that mean that on some of your investigations that we go to and we get answers, are we actually getting answers for investigators for the past? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or are we getting answers from the living in the past as well? Not just investigators, but actually the living. So people, we're connecting with people at a location that we believe that they've lived in that location. We believe they've died. Well, we know they've died, but actually, are we, rather than talking to them in the now, are we actually communicating them back then?
You see, I done a post on this a long time ago. I'm impressed, Scott. See, that's what happens. You get a man, a legend, and myth on a show. It's another wee, thing.
Yeah.
I asked this something similar ages ago. Are we visiting them or are they visiting us? And I used Caldwell as an example. Caldwell dates back to the 1700s. And we spent about 2 months there, and we done, I don't know, a numerous investigation, but we got loads of evidence, including the Whispering Lady, as I call her. And the girls, they all get heard things, EVPs, they heard noises, and other tons of stuff we got there. But I started to wonder, well, say, take the matron, for instance, is she seeing us as, when she's talking, when she's answering whatever, is she seeing the house as it was when it was, a working house, basically? Or is she seeing the house as it is? It's just a ruin now. Is she seeing the house as a ruin? So who's visiting who?
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, I've certainly worked with mediums who have described to me that they can see a person, or this person's not happy we're here. They're too busy working. That they're busy. They're like a matron, or they're a maid or something like that. And that's happened on a few occasions. We've been in buildings where we've had that. And what's really interesting is on those occasions that we've actually managed to go back and research the names and find these people, and that these people did work in the house, in these houses. So yeah, it's fascinating. Is what are we just seeing this glimpse into? It's us looking into the past again, as you say, or is it us or them looking into the future?
You don't know what you're. And similarly, we did Kilmarnock train station a few times, and down the stairs is the bakery area kind of thing, and so the girls have reported, the two ladies that work in the bakery reported about hearing noises, footsteps, doors opening, stuff like that. And it was always round about, and I say to them, well, what time does this happen at, this is about 4 or 5 in the morning. And it's always the same kind of time. But it turned out that downstairs used to be the staff living quarters. You know, I'm going back decades. And I said, well, if it's about 4 or 5 in the morning, that's probably when the staff would, you know, be getting up, getting ready, you know, getting organised to go to whatever job they were going to. So I use hearing them, it's possible use a hearing them going about their daily routine, getting up, washed, whatever it was. So they were still kind of living their life sort of thing. But the girls in the bakery could hear them. At the time at Caldwell, time sort of kind of confirmed the existence of multiple time layers.
Yeah.
See, that's scientific again.
You're going to go back to the multiverse. But yeah, I mean, it's
that's all the sciencey stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go back up. I want to pick this one that Stefan asked before it disappears off the screen.
You also feel that often you only have to think you're quick. Sometimes, yep. Sometimes, you know, you can think your question in your head and you do get some kind of response, even though you've no sort of physically asked the question, because I believe that, you know, spirit can hear you, whatever way. It's the same as, you know, closing down investigations. We don't do it now. We used to do it, but we don't know. But every time we maybe leave Caldwell, you know, you say in your head, you know, thanks very much. You know, we'll see you again, sort of thing. Yeah. Because you think, well, they can pick up on that. So I think they can. You still get answers. Do you think, Liam?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I think that's definitely possible. I was just having a sort of kind of caught on. There's something else that was Caldwell, wasn't it? Yeah. There's very little history about Caldwell.
There is no. Well, that's the trouble we had with Caldwell. We get loads of evidence, but trying to validate a lot of it. We could validate some of it. It was built by the Muir family, and we got names through the necrophonic that we could tie in to the Muir family who built it, and they lived in it up until, now I might get this wrong, 1920s, I think. And then it was bought over by the Govan Health Board. There's two different stories. The one is it was turned into a care home. The other is it was turned into some kind of psychiatric hospital for kids. But the records are sealed. The records were sealed back in 1985 for 75 years. They're sealed in the Mitchell Library. So there's nothing, you know, we can't find anything out. We do know that there was a young girl who, well, it's reported that managed to get out of the house, and it's 280 acres of estate, so it's a fair size. She got out in the middle of the night and she was found, you know, dead the next morning for hypothermia. So, you know, that's the only thing we know kind of 80% of. Sealed for a reason. We don't know why we can't find nothing prior to the you know, after the Muir family kind of gave it up. We don't know. Say there's two different stories, and we'd love to find out, you know, if there is. We've always felt that there was graves there as well, somewhere. Down the bottom of the estate, there's an old building, and it's said to be in the children's hospice. There's old swings, you know, there as well. And we always felt that there was graves round about that area. And so we asked one night, you know, we were doing the investigating, and we asked, is there graves here? And we got a male voice, I think it was an Irish accent, saying they're down here.
Right.
But obviously we can't go digging the place up, you know. There's no physical body. I've heard things myself. Footsteps. I've always wondered that as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know spirit can light up a K2 meter, you know, make a cat ball flash, stuff like that. How do they, you know, how do they do the footstep thing? Because we've heard, no doubt yourself as well, Liam, we've heard, to many a place we've went to, and we've heard footsteps.
Yeah, it was, I said Ruthven the other week, it was definitely what it sounded to me like, somebody shuffling their feet right next to the gate. Strathpeffer Pavilion, we actually had, we have it on audio, something walking across the floor, wooden floor, stopping, again, kind of shuffle of feet as if checking us out, and then walks off again. But yeah, it's a fascinating question, Stefan, because yeah, in theory,
they don't have a physical body.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the clearest one that I remember that we got was at Dunure Castle. Dunure Castle sits right on the coast, and there's a massive big kind of park area before there's houses, and just outside the castle there's a short gravel path, and we were all there one night and we heard footsteps on the gravel. Everybody heard it at the same time, and so we peeked out, but there wasn't a soul about, and there was nowhere anybody could have ran away to. But we heard it as clear as a bell.
Yeah.
These footsteps on the gravel, and we thought somebody was coming down to see what we were up to or something, but so there's nobody there, so we all heard it.
Yeah.
Where did they go? There's nobody for them, you know. It's either, you know, they're really fast runners, or they jumped into the sea. It's right on the water. You know, you get the castle, there's a cliff, and then there's the water. That's it. So you're either up the hill or into the water. So, you know, just because they chose not to show themselves doesn't mean they are. Exactly. You know, I've had people ask me before, well, how do you know spirits there? Because you can't see them, you can't touch them, you can't feel them. And I always say to them, well, it might be a stupid example, you know, but I always say to them, well, think about TV signals. You see an aerial on top of a house, you can't see the signal getting into that house, but you know it's there because you can watch the TV, but you can't see it, but it's still there, you know.
Yeah.
I think maybe manipulating the required energy. A sound wave is energy after all. What's saying, look behind you, i.e. pigeon means Sarah died that. Laura's saying there as well, the pigeon, we were investigating, we kept getting the words, look behind you at Dunure. Right. And we got it several times, and the lasses weren't great. They didn't want to turn around, you know, but they eventually did, and this pigeon flew, and they kind of nearly messed themselves, basically. You know what I'm saying? That was funny that night. That was. I like it when stuff like that happens, you know.
Oh, you need to have a laugh, definitely, and I think it ups the energy levels as well. So it's all good.
It does, you know. If you're having a laugh, you know, I'm not saying make a mockery of what you're doing, what have you. I hear footsteps climbing the stairs at home. There you go.
Yeah.
How's it done? You know. It is good to have a, because it relaxes. I think it relaxes spirit as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I think, you know, spirit enjoys a laugh the same as the next man.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, she got a bum felt one night in investigation. She was sitting at a canvas camping chair, and she just kind of went, whoa, you know, kind of like, and somebody squeezed her bum through the chair.
I've worked with quite a few female investigators, and bottom seems to be the area that's always targeted. Most of them. And I've actually, there's one location where two women on completely different nights both had the same thing happen to them in the same area. So we think there was a naughty spirit at work.
But I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, if you get a guy, best activities, just we've had that at Loudon a few times. We've not had any activity, and then it's usually when we start talking amongst ourselves that somehow we say, right, we're just going to go home now. If he's unwilling to talk to us, we're just going to pack up and go home. I had one night with Spike, we said, right, we're just going to leave you in peace and we're going to go away. And then we started to get activity,
Yeah.
I see my dog pass away, 8-year climbing stairs all the time. I like a good butt squeeze, but only when I can see who's doing it. I sat in the chair for a good 3-4 hours. Never
Near luck.
Near luck. Everybody was away. I was sitting there myself. They were all the way up the road. I'm still sitting there. Hope for a wee bum skin. Nothing happened. What's wrong with me? I've got a butt, and it's it's not too shabby. You don't get a squeeze. But I think I saw it once on Haunted State as an American. We had them on a couple of years ago, but there was a woman in it, and it's a ghost show, but some of the stuff they've done is really, really hard to you can't debunk it, because they've had guests on and all the rest of it. They're usually going to go show, but they are genuine people. I think we've had them on twice. But there was one lady that's on their team, she's blonde hair, and I always remember they'd done this bar, this pub, and every time she went to the toilet, she get touched up. And it was just her that was getting, touched up, nobody else. And it turned out they spoke to locals and that'll be, I can't remember, they gave us spirit a name, that'll be Harry. He always liked a blonde, So, I mean, if you're a bit of a ladies' man and physical, in this life, and who says you're not going to be the same, when you pass over?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've talked about, I think I've talked to you before about Bert at Dirt House in Port Soy, and Bert always is attracted by young redheads.
I mean,
yeah. So, yeah, exactly. 100%. Totally agree. Now, the other thing I want to talk about tonight, before we forget to talk about it, when it's important that we do talk about it, is Sarah's new project.
Right. Aye.
So she set up a new page. We've shared it once already, but we're going to share all the page links out tomorrow morning, again. But yeah, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
It's called. She's going to kill me because I always get this mixed up.
I've got it written down. Can I help?
Accessible Journeys by Sarah.
Accessible Adventures.
I was nearly right.
You were nearly right. Unless I wrote it down wrong. That's possible.
Not as what you said.
But it's a great wee page and it's a great idea. So
I mean, I know a lot of people know Sarah's and her daughter's disabled, and Sarah started using the wheelchair more often. So it was how it came about was a couple of weeks ago. You're a dead man walking, Gaffer. I know. I didn't quite forget the whole time. I had a rough idea, but I thought it was journeys. It's not as adventures, So a couple of weeks ago we went to St Andrews. Laura was there as well. St Andrews, beautiful town, beautiful place, scenery, what have you. But there was a couple of things that Sarah was in her chair, and I want to make it clear first that the page isn't designed to slag anybody off or to slate anybody. It's not there to pick fault either. It's there just to try and show that some of the there's everyday things that might be fine for, like, say, ourselves, but for somebody who relies on a wheelchair, it can be a bit of a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to St Andrews, we're at the cathedral, and we were into the graveyard. You've probably been there, Liam.
Yeah.
There's only one path, and only goes so far. So that was fine. Sarah could go down there, but there was a lot more to the place, but there was no way to get the chair round, you know, because it was just all grass. And so we felt this was unfair. It's all right for you and me, we can go for a wander, take photographs, but it takes some of the experience away for somebody, you know, who does rely on a chair.
Yeah.
And then just as you come out the cathedral, you know, you get the archway that takes you down to the Nuns' Walk. Where you can cross the road there. But the part, now, I don't know if you noticed, you probably did, as you go into that archway, there's a tiny wee archway on the right-hand side that you can go through to the street.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't use that because it was too narrow for the chair. Obviously, it was built centuries ago, you know. But there is a bit of path, but it's only about maybe 1-2 feet wide, which wasn't big enough for the chair. So the only way to get across the street is to go onto the main road. And, you know, on a Saturday afternoon, it's it sits right in a bend. It's no ideal.
No.
Whereas somebody else would just cross the road. If you rely on a chair, you know, even we went to, the girls needed the bathroom, so we went to a big superstore in Kirkcaldy. I'm not going to name it, but they couldn't find the key to the disabled toilet, you know, and so Sarah couldn't go into the ladies because of the way it's designed, couldn't get a chair in. So that, you know, you talk about a multi-million-pound store chain. Yeah. And they couldn't find a key to a disabled toilet. And then you start to think, well, a lot of people might think, well, just go somewhere else. But it's not that easy. If you're stuck in a chair and you're busting for the bathroom and there's no one for, you know, you don't know where the next one is, that puts you a wee bit of predicament, you know. So there's a wee things with that. So Sarah decided she had a chat with Laura as well and decided to start up this page. They were just going to visit different locations and no test them or anything, but just see how it is for people who do rely on wheelchairs. You know, we've done a couple in Glasgow and they were absolutely fantastic. You know, we don't set, it sounds bad, we don't set out to fault them, you know, but we couldn't fault them because the facilities and all that were perfect. But it's just to try and make people aware that it could be the smallest detail that could ruin a person's day.
Yeah.
You know, and
if you, I was going to say, if you know that in advance as well, you can plan your day as much as, you know, it might be, oh, I want to go there, but actually I can't really get there. It's not really going to be accessible for me. You know,
I mean, there are places that, you know, that there's no wheelchair access and it can't be helped. You know, one in St Andrews was a Laurel telling it was some kind of museum or something down near the front. But there's a big sign saying not accessible or not suitable for wheelchairs. So, well, that's a bit of a bummer. You know, if somebody in a wheelchair wanted to go in, you know, and it's, you know, like I say, I'm going to McDonald's. You know, when was the last time you see a wheelchair in McDonald's?
Yeah.
You know, as everyone says, my best friend, known because to experience what I do and days out. Not exactly that's the whole kind of thing behind it, because it can be as simple as things in McDonald's. You know, you can get a chair into McDonald's, but there's no room. I'll talk about the local one. There's no room to move about. So if you get somebody in a wheelchair,
that's ridiculous. That's absolutely shocking that you know, a company the size of McDonald's doesn't cater for a wheelchair.
You know, so getting in front door's fine.
Yeah.
But the way it's laid out, you know, it's impossible for a wheelchair user. So, you know, no all wheelchair users have got carers or somebody to take them out. So if they're, you know, a lot of them, no doubt you see them in Inverness who do it themselves, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, the ghost walk that I do, that we have restrictions, unfortunately, because of the graveyards, because the graveyards are not wheelchair. One, you couldn't get into the graveyard simple as that. The smallest graveyard. It's a stone step up to it. There's no wheelchair access. The other one's got a path that goes into the middle, and then the path stops. That's it. After that, there's no access. Again, it's a lot to do with the age of the locations, but not fair, you know. And we've had folk out with us, you know, who've mobility issues again, and we have to go, well, yeah. What we try to do is we'll try and change things around as much as possible to give them the access that we can. But yeah, it's something that's you know, I think for a lot of locations, it seems to be they just don't seem to want to care.
No, and it's unfair. Now, Eileen says that an issue at Greyfriars. Is that when you met up with us? We went in Greyfriars, and also Sarah was there. She was getting a bit sore for walking, so I went into the kirk, and there was a wheelchair sitting. So I says to one of the guys, "Look, my partner's outside. She's disabled. Blah blah blah." And the guys were like, "I take the chair. It's fine. Nobody's using it." So I took the chair out to Sarah, and then this guy, I don't know if he was a manager or somebody, some jobs worth, came out and says, "I need to take the chair back." I said, "Well, your boy in there says that we can use the chair. My partner's disabled and she's sore with walking. But if we do it for one, we need to do it for everybody else." And I'll be honest, see if I'd been myself, I would have told him where to go and sit with his granny, if you know what I'm saying, basically. But it's just the way he came out and said, "No," and he took, I says, "Your man in there told me to take the chair. It's not as if I've just came in and took it."
Yeah.
I said, "But just, you know, just take the chair." But no, it's there is, and what Sarah's idea was to put a comment on as well, carer's comment.
Yes, all that, yeah, which I think is really good.
You know, because it can be as well, so that it can be for the person that's, you know, their carer. Because, you know, as I say, get back to the bathroom scenario, you know, if you're a carer, you need to think, right, how can I get, you know, so to the bathroom? I need to get him or her to a bathroom. So the carer then has a problem, you know, getting, you know, whoever it is to a toilet, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, even something like McDonald's, you want to take somebody to McDonald's, you need to leave them outside. Well, you wait here, I'll go and get your burger. You know, and it's stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
There's other disabilities with how many signs he's not I don't recall seeing any here. But we're going to get in all different kind of shops and stuff, historical sites as well. Yeah. And just, you know, see how easy it is. Because you see, Liam, it gives people a heads up. We're not trying to campaign for, you know, better rights or whatever you like to call it. I don't know. It's just because it can cause, and it can ruin a day out, you know. One thing, sorry, Liam, when you go.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, that's, you know, the whole thing with those reviews there, you know, at least people, you've got a heads up, and who knows, it might, you know, raise a few things and people go, "Oh, hang on a minute, yeah, they've got a point there. We need to do something about this, hopefully."
Aye. Laura's saying, "Going back to the bathroom, if you went in to the bathroom with Sarah, you would raise that." Aye, exactly. You know, so I mean, Sarah and I might go out, Laura's no there. Luckily, Laura was there. But, you know, it might just be Sarah and I do, so I can't go into the bathroom there. You know, no less as a disabled one, but I can't troop into the woman's kind of bathroom and say, "Right, you know, on you go." We get thrown out a nightclub years and years ago. We went to a nightclub in the town here, and Sarah went to the bathroom, so I stood outside waiting on her coming out, and somebody says I was stalking the women's bathrooms, and had these 2-3 Polish foreign bouncers came out. And I was nearly fighting with them. Well, I was fighting with them. They were dragging me out the door. I said, my partner's in there and she's disabled. I'm waiting on her to come out, but no, you have to leave. But one thing we did see in St Andrews, if you gave it a big thumbs up for it, I've never seen it in my life, I don't know if you have, was beach wheelchairs.
All right.
Now, I never actually said it was Sarah and Laura that spotted the sign. Seemingly it's wheelchairs designed specifically, they've got massive wheels or something on them.
Right.
They're designed specifically to get down on the beach.
Oh, cool. That's
I thought that,
yeah.
I thought that's, that's a really, really good idea, and more places should do something like that.
Yeah.
Because Sarah's been there chair and we went to the beach, but you need to sort of drag it backwards to get it.
Yeah, I can imagine it can't be very easy to move on a beach.
It's not the easiest task, but I thought a beach wheelchair, that's quite an ingenious idea,
Yeah.
But not that there is a lot of places out there that do need to kind of pay more attention to disabled people, whether in wheelchairs, blind, whatever. And that's basically what the page is going to be doing. We're just going to be going around different places, supermarkets, historical sites, like say fast food places. There's a couple in Glasgow I can think of where to go, holiday camp, stuff like that. And just seeing definitely fine for Sarah, but you just giggle and go on with it. Exactly. And there's other bits as well that it's like they have them. I'd never seen them. I'd never even heard of them, Stefan, until we went to St Andrews, and the girls thought it was beach wheelchairs. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
And the other, some of the passes in St Andrews, I can't write to the council or anything like that. But Sarah, we bought a brand new wheelchair for Sarah, and we took it to a park. We went to a park here, and I caught a divot, a wee bump in the road. But the angle that the chair hit it bent the pin on one of the front wheels. So the wheelchair was buggered for about a week and a half. It was out of use till a new part came and I managed to fix it. But, I started thinking, well, in parts you get cycle lanes, that are well maintained. Why don't they have something like that for wheelchair users? I don't know, a wheelchair, I don't know what you'd call it, but something like that. Because even something like that, we were out, it was a nice day, and bang, we hit that wee hole in the path, and it just buggered the wheel, and it was a nightmare trying to push it after that, because the wheel just kept wanting to turn the opposite direction. So there's 101 things, but we'll put it 2 weeks ago or something, we started it. So we're going to be out and about a lot more places. But I say we're not trying to slate anybody or slag anybody off or anything like that. It's just to make people aware that sometimes the smallest thing to us can be a massive thing to somebody else.
Yeah, I read the reviews. It really does make you think. There's nothing negative or nasty. As you say, you're not having a pop at anybody. You're just telling it how it is. I think it's a great idea, and maybe it'll take off, and people in other areas will start doing the same thing, because there's certainly places in Inverness, that again have no access. We've got a very controversial thing called the Gathering Place, which is a piece of art that you can basically walk out into not quite the centre of the River Ness. It's wide enough to get a wheelchair down it, but it's not wide enough to turn a wheelchair around to come back up. And that was built 2 years ago. No excuse. Absolutely no excuse. It's not something that's been around for hundreds of years. It's brand new. I was disgusted when I read that from a wheelchair point of view, it's it's just ridiculous. I thought surely somebody must have thought of that, but clearly people don't.
No, they don't. One place we gave top marks to was the Riverside Museum in Glasgow, the new Transport Museum. I think that's a few years old now, but we've done a review on that, and sometimes yourself, parking can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So that can sometimes be a bit of a problem as well. But the Riverside Museum, couldn't fault it. The car park's right next to the museum. All the paths were totally flat. The lifts were even the size of some of the lifts. I know some of the lifts are put in decades ago and stuff, but the size of the lifts and you get the wheelchair in, turn it around, you're ready to go, and they get ramps. They take you across the different bits, and we could not. The disabled bathroom is massive, as well, and so we can't fault it. So it's not just about the bad places; it's the kind of good places as well. But as you say, it's really enough to get a wheelchair down, but you can't turn it round.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, a few more £100 to put another wee bit of park there or something, just enough space to be able to turn around and get back up. It's St Andrew's Cathedral. I mean, that day we went, as you know, the park only goes so far. Yeah. And that's it. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're that, because obviously you got all the bit over to the other side, and all you can do is sit and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You can't go for a wander. We stick a path round it, and you can go in it. So we're hoping it takes off, and it maybe it maybe helps people somewhere somehow.
I'm sure it will. I think it's a great idea, and as I said, we'll keep plugging it away and keep it as well. And hopefully, as I said, I hope it spreads and other people, get involved in other areas and add their reviews as well. That would be really, really good to do. I do want to go back to the paranormal before we finish. I know we've kind of overrun a bit because I'm sure you spotted this from Stefan as well. I've always wanted to investigate brothel. We almost did, but we didn't. We almost had an opportunity a few years ago to do one, but it never came off. Unfortunately, but that would be interesting.
I couldn't tell you where any brothels are, or even any brothels are. Actually, to be honest with you, so. I saw a program once. It was at Antwerp Mansion. I might have the name wrong, but it used to be a gentleman's club back in the day. And obviously the ladies of the night would come in and entertain the gentlemen sort of thing.
Yeah,
I know some folk did investigations there, and some of the evidence they got was quite juicy. Basically, without getting into too much detail.
Things going bang, things going bump in the night. Yeah.
Basically. Well, aye. That's all. I'm not going. Aye. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We found out. We I won't name the pub, but we investigated a pub in Inverness, and we were basically told, "Oh, we've got a locked off room." That's basically been locked off since the 1970s, when it was a brothel, and it said it's basically just been left as it was in the 70s. But we never got access to it. It wasn't easy to access. There was no kind of stairs left to access it. You had to get a ladder and whatnot to get to it. But we can say, "Oh, we'll come back and we'll investigate it." But we never got the chance. But I then actually, I'll need to go and find out, is this true or some urban myth? And spoke to a few people. And yeah, it was. So, yeah.
I think it'd be quite an interesting investigation, but I think we'll just stick to, at Loudon and places like that.
Yeah.
I'm not aware, as I said, I'm not aware of any local brothels in Kilmarnock, or even Glasgow for that matter. Never a place I know there's a few in Amsterdam, but that's a bit far to go for an investigation.
Yeah, I think it's more. I mean, I know I've seen on TV the American paranormal shows investigating, various locations where there was brothels and whatnot. But in a lot of cases, there obviously was a lot of history involved in these places as well, and murder and whatnot. So they kind of got that interesting kind of backstory to them. I suppose, again, brothel, it's the seedy side of things, isn't it? So yeah, there's likely to be murder and death, and people associate that kind of thing with the paranormal.
It's when you get these stories, there were 27 people murdered here, and some folk want to go because they immediately think it's we call it, that Jennifer, the American side was she was doing some locations there, we says, more hyped than haunted,
Yes.
I think America, I mean, don't you get it here, you get locations that are topped up to the high heaven, pardon me, and then you go, like the Ivy House, a great location, but we've heard so many stories about this place, and it's got numerous different, the Demon House, the Screaming House, we went down and investigated, and we got very, very, it was still a good night, we still enjoyed it, but there was very, very little, so, I think America's quite bad for it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've always said that when we've gone to locations that they've got a story and they push the ghost story, normally I leave disappointed, and it's like, well, nothing really happened there. I always get surprised when I go to a location that there's been no real talk of anything, and you get things kicking off. And then the other thing I'm starting to get a bit, the most haunted pub in Britain.
Oh,
the most haunted hotel in Britain.
I've seen that there's been a post in Facebook keeps popping up the past couple of days about the most. I've not read it because I can't be annoyed with all that jargon, all that bollocks. We've got the most haunted pub in Britain. No, you haven't. It's the same as people who say we're the best team in the UK. No, you're not. There's no such thing. You're talking bollocks. But it's like, no disrespect to these places. Maybe there is stuff there, maybe there's no, but is it the way people are saying it is?
Yeah.
But I think you've got more chance again, Loudon Caldwell, two places that were never really investigated, Caldwell especially, we couldn't find, before we started doing it, we couldn't find any stories for any paranormal team that had done Caldwell. Many urban explorers had been there, but paranormal side, far to what we could find that never been done. And we get tons of evidence there. So is it a case, as I've said on many a show, I think I've said to you, Liam, that these quiet, Loudon Kirk, you can drive by that and not even notice there. Same as Caldwell. You can go right by the gate. There's only one gate into Caldwell, and you wouldn't even look at the gate driving by. These little places, that are never, ever investigated, or very rarely investigated, is it a case that Spirit says, he's came to see us? They've came to say hello. I was John Zuna, I was talking to last week about it at the same time, as it just, they've came to see us. We've never had visitors. I know it might sound stupid, but maybe it is just as simple as that.
Yeah. As I said earlier, that's a question I've asked on a few occasions now. Does anyone else to come and see you? And you get a no one talks. And you're right, some of these more sort of remote locations that people don't tend to go to do tend to be the ones that you get more activity. And again, you're a familiar face. You've been there before as well, and so as time goes on, as we start off tonight, things get more active. You get more communication.
But Loudon was the same when we started with Loudon. We got, we always got something, flash a K2 meter, whatever it was. We always, we never, I think maybe one night, one night we went away empty handed. We still had a good night. This is the other thing that annoys me. See, I can rant for ages, by the way, as you probably know.
Right.
It's when teams go out and they'll go to, say, a graveyard, and nothing will happen. They'll be there for 5-6 hours, and then they'll go, that was crap. That was crap at night. That's a crap location. Never going there again. We ran around it, and maybe the other case we've not had anything. We've still had a good night. We've been out doing what we love. We're team members or whoever, and you had a wee bit of banter, doing investigation. That's it. But it really annoys me when people say that location's crap, because nobody was there and we didn't even get a flick of a cat ball. You say bollocks, it's no crap. Maybe they were just having an off night. Let's face it, no doubt, Spirit has an off night, same as us.
Yeah, they're not there to entertain us, and you know, they, as we always say, they've got to want to. If they
Aye.
don't want to, and I'm a firm believer that spirit comes and goes. So I don't believe that they stay at a location all the time. They'll come and they'll go from that location. They tend to. I believe they move around. So yeah.
No, exactly. You know, it's. I mean, when I go, I'm going to Graceland. I'm going to I'm going to first Graceland, then I'm going to the Warren places. Thank Doc. I'm going to all the Warren places and stuff like that. That's where I'm going. But no, as you say, you know, it's Craig and I done an investigation now of Cumbria, Millport Town. There's a crypt graveyard. The question was, anybody ever came to speak to you? We got no. I then asked, are you happy to talk? It came back, please do. See, exactly. Yeah. You know, as I said to John and Juno last week, no offence to scientific people, that's their thing. That's what they want to do. We are a basic team, and when I say basic, I don't mean you know, I mean, you know, we don't believe in all the scientist stuff, and we do use the basic kind of tech, as everybody does. But I believe spirit's just basic. They just want to talk to somebody if they connect with that person. You know, it's as simple as that. I mean, you could go somewhere and you could have a spirit sitting on a bench right next to you. If they don't like to talk to you, you're getting nothing. You know, they could be sitting there with, no, I don't like you. I'm just going to sit beside you. Who's to say that doesn't happen? How many times have we been out somewhere and we've felt that there's somebody beside us or behind us, and you turn around and there's nobody there? Who's to say that's just a spirit being nosy? There's no doubt spirits get curious as well. They might have a wee nosy as well. You know, that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah. And Edinburgh is a good look. It's the pleasing. You know, we've done a lot in Edinburgh. I know you've been in Edinburgh as well, Liam, Simmons, Irene, and Nicola. We love Greyfriars. Everybody does, you know. But as you know yourself, Liam, all the stories that come out of Grey, you know, the most haunted kirkyard in the world. It's not. No. You know. We've done investigations there at different times, and we've only had one tiny bit of activity in all the times that we've done it, and it lasted seconds. You're talking literally about 5 seconds. That was it. We've never felt anything spooky about Greyfriars or whatever. We've done the vaults, we've done the Covenanters as well, where we've had activity there. You know.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Covenanters. I've heard a lot about. I know a couple of people who have had experiences in there that have pretty well freaked them out. So yeah, and it makes kind of more sense than, because obviously it was a prison. It was used, and many people perished there. And it was, or were certainly treated badly as well. So yeah, it's a fascinating place. But I think it's hyped. It's got the tourist, obviously the tourism side of it. You know, the Mackenzie Poltergeist has been flogged to death, for want of a better term. You know, and everybody gets scratched. Houses are burning down in the vicinity. I don't know, the weather today, it's all his fault. And yeah, it's just
we're good friends with we're good friends with Jamie Custorpin, and he's been in Greyfriars for, I think it's about 15 years. And if you want to know anything about Greyfriars, talk to Jamie Custorpin. We City of the Dead tours. He doesn't BS you, he just gives it straight. And we're lucky enough that he lets us in to the Covenanters, you know, whenever we go. It is over. I can't stand Harry Potter. No offence. Any Harry Potter fans out there? Lovely, he's a great guy.
No. Muggle alert.
I mean, what?
Harry Potter, you're a non-magical person. You're a muggle.
All right, I'm a muggle. As well as a legend, a man, and a myth. Yeah, we've known Jamie for about 3 years now, and we've done a lot with Jamie. And you can sit and listen to him for forever. I think, in fact, when Rosie and Andrew were through, we were through with it. Irene ended up in the Covenanters prison because we wanted to show Rosie that the prison as well. The prison has got. It's a weird one, you know. I mean, Greyfriars sits right in the middle of Edinburgh, and it's on one of the main routes in and out of Edinburgh. But as soon as you step in the gates, you just feel like you've been back in time. You know, you just get that feeling. And when you get into the prison, it's a totally different feeling. Is it on the mind? I don't know. I think it's maybe half and half because you know the history of the place. You know, the Mackenzie poltergeist. There's no documented evidence anywhere about to suggest that the George Mackenzie, he's not there.
Great story though.
It's a great story, you know. It was actually the name the Mackenzie poltergeist came from Jan Henderson, who owns City of the Dead Tours. He wrote a book, The Ghost That Haunted Itself. It was about all the attacks in the Covenanters prison, and he had to get he wanted to give this entity, whatever you want to call it, a name, so he called it the Mackenzie poltergeist. You know, so for then on, everybody was blaming George Mackenzie. If it rained, that's him. He made it rain, you know. But it's a different ambience in the Covenanters. It's a whole. You need to go in and actually experience it. It's all right, people telling you about it.
Yeah, but it's one that I do want to go and visit definitely.
Well,
at some point. I think we're planning a wee jolly to Edinburgh next year, so as a group. So hopefully we can arrange it when we're down to go in, because it is certainly a location that I'm really keen to do, having heard what I've heard.
Well, investigations are actually totally banned now.
Right.
The prison was locked in 1998. It was locked because after all the attacks, the Edinburgh City Council turned around and basically said, right, enough's enough. You know, I think they were kind of afraid of lawsuits or whatever, so they said, you know, enough. Because 1 month alone there was 11 ambulances called.
Wow.
And 1 month, and that's when they put the lid on it. It says no. So, but it says Jamie, he's got the keys to it, and we're really lucky that we can go in. So when you're done, I'm sure we can go and see Jamie boy, and he'll let you have a wee stroll in the
that would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. I'm just trying to finish up, but Stephen keeps coming up with his great question. Theatres. He mentioned. It's another one. I haven't done a theatre, but I would love to do a theatre. The one here in Inverness is haunted allegedly by the Green Lady, and has other spirits connected to it as well. But unfortunately, all our attempts to get access so far have fallen on deaf ears. But we'll keep trying.
Craig, Laura's the other half. He worked in the Palace Theatre. I forgot the name of it. Palace Theatre in Kilmarnock. And the story. Now, I might get this wrong, Laura. There's reports. She's called the Lavender Lady. There's always whenever this lady's about, there's always a strong smell of lavender, seemingly. I think I've got that right. Laura will shoot me if I've got that right. Yeah. But I would imagine theatres would be. There's one, I think it's an old cinema or something in Kilmarnock. It's all boarded up now. It's a kind of headrest now. But I've always said I'd love to get in there. You know, it's just it's one of these buildings you see, and you know it's it's totally taboo. That's correct. It's Lavender Lady. It's one of these buildings that's all boarded up, and you know there's a danger of death. You know. Yeah. But you want to, you want to get in there, you know. I mean, you might not come back out, you know. How do you play official Lafayette, the wee bird pronouncing that, died in the fire there.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think. Ghost Hunters International did the Usher Hall in Edinburgh. I'm trying to think if they did the Playhouse as well. I don't know, but they definitely did the Usher Hall in Edinburgh.
But when you think of Edinburgh, you know, it's saturated with, you know, with the paranormal. I mean, even the history alone, you know, Edinburgh dates back to the 1100s, you know. But there's evidence of settlements there going back right back to the Iron Age. So, you know, I mean, these theatres, it's even the land that they're built. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
The land, it's the same as the old town. Look at the amount of history in the old town.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose we have access to the State Theatre in Oldenburg. It's an actor there. So it would be good to get into an old cinema, an old theatre.
Yeah.
Privacy and command. It's on the to-do list, but it's been really developed just now, but we have access when it is. So once that we'll be able to get in.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Maybe meet the Lavender Lady.
Lavender Lady. Yeah. Maybe. Right, one more, and then we will. Concentration camps. Obviously, I was going to angle this question slightly different. Is there any location that you would just simply go, no, not going to do that?
You asking me?
Aye.
Oh, so, aye, children's cemeteries, children's graveyards. We got asked to do one a few years, 2 or 3 years ago now. We were in Edinburgh, and there's a kids' graveyard. We were meant to do these particular woods in Edinburgh, but the day we picked to go, somebody had been found dead in them. So it was all shot after the police, which I thought was pretty selfish. You know, because we came all the way from Kilmarnock. They could have shoved them under a bush or something, let us in, you know. But we thought, well, what are we going to do? We came all this way. So we done a drive about in Kilmarnock on a live. And somebody we says, you know, where do you want us to go? You tell us where you want us to go, and we'll go. Somebody say a children's graveyard cemetery. We said, no. I know one individual for the Edinburgh side who done one, and I thought it was just it's totally taboo. That's the one place I would never go. Anywhere else,
yeah, I mean, we don't do what we call the active graveyards. So you know, any ones that are still really in operational use. But you know, the last thing you want to be doing if you're going to the grave of your loved one is find a bunch of idiots with K2 meters and dowsing rods wandering around. So we stick to the older graveyards, and totally agree. I wouldn't dream of doing a children's graveyard. I mean, Clawden Battlefield's another one we won't do. You know, National Trust don't want you to do it anyway, but you know, it's just such a sacred site. That from a Highland point of view, it's, you know, it was the catalyst for the beginning of the end of the Highland way of life. So again, it's just some things are better left alone, I think.
You just, you know, as you say, you don't want people ploughing about with K2s and that. And, you know, see, I watched one guy I didn't watch it all, but he did a kid's graveyard, and he does gear out ordering this, you know, kid, you know, this young man's grave, and to see if that was my kid, I would string you up. I would come down, and he done it as alive as well. You know, and I thought, if that was my way, I'd be down there where you were sitting, and I would string you up. It's just, you know, it's just, even I've done walkabouts, sort of great, one Kilmarnock. It's, you know, it's a bit of a mixture. There's the old part, the new part, and then there's a kids part at the back. And I've done the old part, but I wouldn't get into the more modern part, and I stayed well clear of the kiddies, because nobody wants to see their kids grieve on a video.
No.
You know, just totally taboo for me.
But no, yeah. So I think we will we could go on for hours. We will get you back on, and I'm sure I'll be back on with yourself at some point, hopefully.
Oh, no doubt you will. No doubt I'll find it. a slot for you. You know what I mean?
It's been an absolute pleasure, as always, to speak with you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks to everyone tonight for coming on and not watching the football. I think it must still be 1-1.
No idea.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. But as I said, thanks for coming on, Scott. Thanks to everyone. Have a great night, a great week. We will be back with a couple of lives next month. We do have Lynn Crawford Knight from History and Horror Tours coming on the 11th of July. But we'll have a couple more lives next month as well. And as I said, we'll post out all the links in the morning to Scott's pages, both here on Facebook and YouTube, so you can keep up with all his good work. Should quickly ask you before you go, who's your next guest?
Nick Muley. Nick coming back in. And that's we've got guests coming back, and we're taking July off. And we've got some new guests. We've got Kate Sherrill coming back in as well. We're doing another, in talks with David Craig and Melanie Wade about doing another Elvis show. I don't know if you've seen the last one or not.
No, but I know somebody, I know one of our followers is a massive Elvis fan, so I'll be sure to let her know.
Well, so on our YouTube channel, we did it with David Espinosa, Craig Adams and Melanie Wade, and we were looking at Elvis's career, for the 50s, right, up till now. So we're going to do another one around middle August time. But we're taking July off, and that's about it for now.
Busy. Well, enjoy your July break. Thanks again for coming on, Scott.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you all again soon. Till then, take care, guys.
Take care, folks.